Hello, everyone. Apparently, we are now live, so that's exciting. Welcome back
Awesome.
to Unicorn Chef. We are here with episode 10, so we're now in double digits, which makes us positively old, I guess, in terms of podcasting. And I am joined today by the lovely Lee. Would you like to introduce yourself, Lee?
Yeah, hello, Amy. Hello, everyone. So my name's Lee Sykes. I'm CTO of a company called AI FinTech over in the USA, and also own a company over in the UK as well. And today we are going to cook some big boy meatballs.
I've
Yeah,
already had several messages about the innuendos that could possibly come out of a recipe called Big Boy Meatball.
yeah. This could get interesting. Well, this is a recipe I picked up from Peter Sidwell. So shout out to Peter Sidwell. It's from his new cookbook. So go and check that out if you like this recipe. Yeah.
Yes. Well, having looked at the ingredients, I think we're all going to put about 9 stone on.
It does look like it. Yeah, there's plenty of cheese and all sorts of crazy stuff going in there.
There is, yeah, but I'm excited and I'm really hungry. I've purposefully not eaten lunch today so that I can have a big portion of Big Boy meatballs.
Exactly. So shall we begin?
Shall we begin? Yes, we shall. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, we need to preheat the oven,
Okay.
180 degrees.
That's a good start. We can do that. So, alongside cooking today, when you eventually pop back up from heating your oven, that was like, we're going to also talk about artificial intelligence, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, because your background is AI, but not like a new background in AI, like the millions of people on LinkedIn who all pop up and go, I'm an AI expert because they've used ChatGPT for a few months. You're actually an expert in AI.
Yeah, I've been heavily involved for the last 2 years. So literally on the front line doing it in business. So that's the big difference. So yeah, we should get into some of that as we go along. Feel free to pick my brains. It's good fun.
Yes. You'll also notice that Lee has got a very similar accent to me because he is also from Yorkshire. But he doesn't live in Yorkshire. He lives in sunny Cyprus, even though I've got a better tan than him.
Yeah, well, this is it. I did manage to get on the beach this morning, believe it or not. So that was actually pretty unusual. We do a date day morning on a Wednesday. So that gives us a chance to get out. First day of the month of the year, I should say, that we've been out on the beach. So pretty good.
You live in Cyprus and this is the first day of the year you've been on the beach?
Yeah.
Really?
I know, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
That is horrific.
So much we're doing AI.
Because you're on the phone to me all the time, that's why.
That's it, exactly.
So for these meatballs, what do we need to start off with?
All right, so we need a large mixing bowl. We need to combine the minced beef and pork sausage, add the breadcrumbs, grated parmesan, 100 grams of the ricotta, an egg, just tons, chopped garlic.
Just
Stop pause there. I think we need to start just throwing it in the bowl.
Pretty much everything except for the tomatoes and wine and butter then.
Yeah.
I love the addition at the end of this recipe of just an extra bit of butter. You know, just because there's not enough fat in it already.
Yeah, well, you need it, don't you? You need it. I'm just going to start randomly throwing things in.
Let's go for it. These are my homemade breadcrumbs, which I've made out of a very nice red Leicester sourdough earlier because I wanted to be bougie and I thought, what does a cheesy recipe need other than more cheese?
There's lots of cheese.
There is lots of cheese going on here. Okay, cool. Right, so
breadcrumbs. Yeah, I grated my breadcrumbs specially earlier.
Did you?
With a bit of thumb as well.
Wow.
Some
I'm glad I'm not eating at your house.
Yeah, well, the kids, I'm sure they'll appreciate a bit of thumb.
Just a bit of protein, really, isn't it, if you think about it?
Yeah. What else do we need? 100 grams of parmesan.
Yep, I've got that. I didn't quite realize how much 100 grams of parmesan was. Like, it's difficult to envisage, but it's a fucking lot, is what I'm going to tell everyone.
Show me how much, because I just took a guess and threw some in.
It's a pile like this.
Yeah, that's a good pile. I haven't put that much in.
Well, you're gonna have substandard big boy meatballs then, aren't you? I have trained my 7-year-old to say, when I ask her what's the rule about cheese, her response is, "You can never have too much."
That is a good response. Yes.
A great response. I'm trying to bloody mince this garlic with this new garlic mincer, which is actually quite a cool one. Look, it's like a rocky thing, and then you put the garlic underneath it and then squash it over the top.
Oh yeah.
I have to put
Good.
in it.
I just went for the quick one of chop it into tiny pieces.
Oh, you did well. At least you didn't go lazy and get lazy garlic. That is what I normally do.
No, I went for the real stuff.
Or as I call it, jarlic.
Yeah, exactly. Garlic, I like it.
Yeah. I
Do
don't
it work?
work in marketing for nothing, me, you know.
Say that again.
I don't work in marketing for nothing, me, you know.
Oh, right, of course. You didn't chat GPT it.
I did not chat GPT it. I think I actually stole it off Reddit. So,
we got ricotta, chopped garlic. Have you got your egg?
I've got my egg, just done my egg, and 100 grams of ricotta, which also seems like a lot of ricotta alongside parmesan. I'm not even going to put this into my fitness pal. I'm not going to lie.
No, you probably shouldn't do that.
It's gonna come back in a heart attack.
I'm using a bit of mascarpone instead of ricotta, so we've kind of swapped it out a little bit because I couldn't find ricotta in the shop.
I like mascarpone.
Yeah.
And then
what else do we need? We got
oregano.
Yeah, oregano. Teaspoon of oregano. Teaspoon of salt.
Always seems like a lot of salt. Like every time you cook a recipe, like out of a recipe book, it always says like put a fuck ton of salt in it.
Yeah. Got some sea salt.
Yeah. Did you collect it especially today at the sea? Is that why you went?
Yeah, exactly.
Fresh.
Exactly. That's exactly what was on my mind this morning when I was on the sunbed.
Right, I think now is this the minging bit where I have to put my hands in it and mix it all together?
Yeah, mix well to combine all the ingredients, exactly. Yeah.
It is actually my worst nightmare doing this, you know.
Is it?
Yeah. I hate being messy, which, you know, I have a 7-year-old, so.
Well, you've kind of got to be a bit messy then, haven't you?
Constantly.
Yeah, this is mixing pretty good.
I think it smells amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to eating it, I have to say.
Yeah.
When I found this recipe, I was looking at all sorts of recipes. I did try ChatGPT because I thought, well, maybe it's appropriate to try ChatGPT, you know what I mean?
Oh, like AI recipe. Yeah, I'm not sure that ChatGPT understands flavour. Food.
I just didn't like what it was showing. So it was like, it just kind of seemed a bit boring.
Yeah.
So I thought, I know.
Well, when you make
I have a few recipes from Pete, so I started looking around and managed to find these. So, what do we need to do next? Divide the mixture into 12 portions and use wet hands to roll them into balls.
Well, I'm still mixing it. I want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed. There's a lot of this mixture. I think this is going to feed a lot more than just me and my other half this evening.
Yeah, there is quite a lot here.
Yeah, I don't think I read the bit on the recipe where it says it's made for 4 to 6 people.
Oh no, I didn't read that either. Oh yeah, 4 to 6. I've got some extra meat in it as well, so I'm definitely on 6.
Yeah. Well, you've got kids there, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to divide this up, and then we can talk AI.
Sounds good.
This was actually a lot easier to cook than the other stuff that I've cooked on this show, because all the other stuff involved a lot of chopping, whereas this is just bang it in a bowl and mix it. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I wanted to try and make it simple. So it took a bit of time to get all the ingredients together. I'm glad I prepared that a bit before we did this.
Yes.
And then it's almost like being on Blue Peter or something, isn't it?
No, it's like, well, come on. It's like being on Saturday Kitchen.
Saturday Kitchen.
I know you don't live in the UK anymore, but Jesus Christ, man.
I don't watch TV.
You know, you just talk to ChatGPT all day, don't you? So how did you get into it? How did you start doing AI? What were you doing before that, or what was it that kind of drew you to it?
Well, I have done all sorts of stuff in the past, and I've literally had my own business for various different businesses for the last 27 years.
Wow.
So some have been very successful, some have been failures. You know what I mean? You do get your battle scars, that's for sure. And
that's all right, though. I think running a business, you're not going to win all the time, are you? I mean, it's very
no,
rare.
you don't. And it's you know, you see all these posts on LinkedIn of like being successful and stuff, and they don't always talk about the failures and things like that. And I think it is important to talk about that. There's almost a stigma about it, isn't it? In you know what I mean, where you're not allowed to fail in your business. You don't tell people that you failed and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that, because I think, well, if you like, business owners should share their failings, because then we can learn from each other.
Exactly.
Every failure that you have is a learning opportunity. That's how I see it. I mean, I fuck up all the time.
Yeah, and that's part of it. You learn from your mistakes, and you got to give it a go. Oh, I've forgotten one more thing. Red wine and chopped tomatoes.
Yeah, they just go over the top of it, though, don't they?
Yeah. So we just pour that in the bottom. So
yeah,
I'm just going to add that.
Excuse me, sir. I'm still handling these balls.
All right. I'll just wait for you. I'll wait for you. You keep rolling.
You're rolling.
You're asking how I got into AI. So, I've done loads of different types of things, and I could talk about that as well later. But the AI, the reason I got into it was at that point in time, I was running ads for clients, in particular Facebook ads. And it was a particular client that was a dentist in London. And they had a problem where basically we could send the leads through, but they couldn't respond fast enough.
Yeah.
And they were just losing money because of that, basically. And to get your best conversion when you're running an ad, you need to respond within 1 minute. If you can respond within 1 minute, as soon as they click, your conversion rate goes through the roof. And the problem with the dentist that we were doing, it's competitive. It was all Invisalign stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got to act fast, because basically they're just clicking on any ad, looking for the best deal. If you're slow to respond, you're losing money. So I began by creating a chat, and it was AI. When you say chatbot, it was an AI bot in WhatsApp. So it was showing. It began with photos and videos of the owner, and then if they responded, the AI bot would kick in. So that was where it all began. It was for a business need, and this was way, way back. So it was just as people were starting to become aware of ChatGPT. And well, of course, this was OpenAI on the APIs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was pretty hard to get it to behave. And that was good training for me.
Yeah.
It was really good training because you had to learn how to prompt. So now it's a bit easier because it kind of understands it a bit better. But you had to learn to prompt really well. So that was where it began, really. And then from that, I got involved in all sorts of businesses that were looking for similar services, and they were running ads. And the problem on all of these businesses was they couldn't follow up fast enough. So we started building these things out in all across the US and various places in HVAC, health, all sorts of things.
So your background's not actually cyber then, is it? Like, at all? I've just
It's what, sorry?
Your background's not actually cybersecurity at all. I've kind of just dragged you into it, haven't I?
Yeah, exactly. We just got chatting, and I think the security is really, really important, though, and that's why I'm interested in the security side of it. So, as things developed, I got involved in a mortgage company, and now I'm. This is a AI fintech company, where we've built out a full AI system, and this is voice, text, email. It basically can think for itself. I say think, but it makes its own decisions and so on. It's crazy advanced.
Just going to interrupt you a second. It feels sacrilegious that I'm using the rest of a bottle of really nice Beaujolais to pour on these meatballs, but hopefully it will enhance the flavour somehow.
Are you ready for pouring now, are you?
I'm pouring.
I'm not even sure what this is. I've just kind of got Cyprus red dry wine. But it's from a local winery, though.
That sounds amazing. Cypriot wine. I mean, the famous winemaking region of Cyprus.
There's loads.
Yeah, when we went to Greece, we had wine that was Greek, and I'm not going to lie, it tasted like cough medicine.
Yeah. Well, I did have a sip a bit earlier just to check that it still tasted all right.
Well, it's getting cooked, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I've somehow also only ended up with 11 meatballs because clearly I can't count. But anyway.
Yeah, I think I've done 10. So
well, there we go then.
These meatballs are ginormous.
Yes, they are. They are huge. There's just one dish of them. Yeah, I got so many that I had to use 2 dishes.
Yeah.
I bought a new dish especially for this, and then I looked at how much ingredients were, and I was like, "Fuck, that dish is not big enough." Are we throwing these in the oven now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay,
let's go.
And we're not covering them up because the recipe says don't. I can't remember why, but it says don't do it.
Yeah, it basically says bake for 20 to 25 minutes or until the meatballs are cooked through. Leave the baking dish uncovered. So, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Sorted. So now we've got like 20 minutes to chat, haven't we?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Well, that is the most organised bit of cooking that we've done because normally we have to cook while we're talking the whole way through. And it's like, wait a minute, you need to throw an ingredient in. Wait a minute. But we've done the cooking bit now. Now we can do the chatting. That's good.
I was trying to make it easy for me. I'm not known for my excellent cooking abilities.
Well, hopefully this recipe will come out nice because the ingredients are all nice and it's mega up my street. So I think we're a winner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so AI, you've been using it primarily for doing salespeople's jobs.
Exactly, and it's to get them connected to the salesperson, though, more than anything. So it's not, how everyone's kind of going, "Oh, AI is going to replace my job." It's actually filling a gap. So that's what we're actually doing. So
I think it's filling a gap, but it's scaling as well because, like, if you're doing outbound sales, I used to do. Well, I mean, I've worked in sales nearly all my life. Outbound sales is fucking wank. No one likes doing cold calling. So if you've got someone like a fake person doing the cold calling for you, the scalability of that is obviously massive. They don't give a fuck if they get rejected, so you're not getting depressed salespeople.
Yeah.
So it's actually a much more positive experience for the people that are actually doing the sales at the end of that process then.
Exactly. So you've got the beauty of the AI. We always say that it's AI when it's calling or texting. And the beauty of it is that we say she, this particular one is a she. And she's always chirpy, happy, even if someone's shouted at her, whatever. I've not actually come across anyone shouting at her yet, to be honest. But she's always got the energy. And then when she passes it over to the sales team, they've got a warm lead now that's ready to actually speak to them. So it just does a live transfer straight to them. So that's what we've always found. You're running ads. Every business has got the same problem. You're running ads and you can't get hold of the person. So
you can't get hold of them quickly as well because you might be, if you're out for lunch and you miss that lead that's coming in, then you could have lost that lead altogether just because you were having your dinner.
Exactly, and it's gone to your competitor. So that's what really does make a massive difference.
Yeah.
And then in terms of security as well, I was showing you. Was it yesterday? We had a call on the mortgage side where this is where security becomes really important. And raising awareness. The voice is now so good that people don't realize it's AI, even though we're saying it's AI.
Yes.
So we're announcing straight away. She'll say, "Hi, my name's so and so from the company. I'm AI," and she goes and introduces herself. She was having this conversation with this lady, and this lady burst out laughing, saying, "Your voice is so clear. You just sound like you're not real," and burst out laughing. She's joking around. But we've announced it's AI, but she don't realize it is. Yeah. So
that's why I wanted to work with you the first. So I met you on LinkedIn, didn't I? And then I'd seen your profile and it was like AI powered employees. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what the use case for that is, but it sounds fucking cool. So let's see. I was like, how, like, chatbots, that's a bit boring. But then when you showed me on the phone and I said, can it do X, Y, Z? And you literally prompted it on the fly and it started. So we set it up to do a voice phishing scam, didn't we? And literally on the fly, within like seconds, it had come back and started trying to scam you. Yeah. And I was like, shit, man, that is fucking impressive. Like, and it doesn't even skip a beat when you're replying.
No, it's crazy. It really is crazy now. So you've got the quality of the voice sounding really good. You've got the speed. Even on a sales call, her responses are better than what I could do. So I can't think that fast, but she can. So you know what I mean? And it's like, I'll be umming and ahhing, trying to think, what do I say next? And she's already said it.
Yeah, but the thing that I like about the way you set it up is that it does go like in the middle of the sentences as well. Like we've got one demo I think that's on LinkedIn where it's like, "Hi Lee, so what can I help you with today?" Like she's thinking, and it's crazy that it's like picked up those kind of vocal cues as well. Yeah,
and that's what gives it. It just gives it that little bit of that slight more human edge. You know what I mean? By just a few ums and ers and pauses in it. Just a little bit more realistic. So does make a big difference.
Yeah, because our use case for it is to train people on voice phishing scams because I think it was something like it was a 440% increase in voice phishing scams at the end of 2024. But the amount of training that's out there is shit for it. I mean, I had a company message me today and say, "You're doing loads with phishing now. What technical controls can you put in place?" And I was like, "Well, there's not that many. I know there's stuff like HSBC when you ring their banking, then they've got voice recognition. But could a deep fake get over that? Maybe. I mean, I've not tested it.
Yeah.
But, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to test that, wouldn't it? But
it would. You would have thought we're not nefarious people.
No, but you would have thought that HSBC internal team would be rapidly trying to test that because that is potentially a massive security flaw now.
Yeah. So I mean, so I don't know whether it happened. I'm assuming they've already thought of that because HSBC's got a lot more clever people working there than me and you. So I'm guessing they thought. But it would be interesting to see kind of what the stats are around it because the ability to create deepfakes now is quite. I mean, it's accessible to people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's even that video one. I'm going to try it. I keep saying I'm going to try it. I was going to try it at the weekend, but I am going to do it this weekend, where you can literally deep fake yourself by talking for like 2 minutes, I think, on a video, and then you can then just put a script. It was that Hey Jen thing that we were talking about the other day. You can then put, you can just type a script in, and it will try and talk like you. So my American business partner, he did it, and he showed me it, and I was like, "Fuck, that is." If I didn't know you personally, that is definitely really close.
Did it have his accent? Did it sound like him?
It sounded pretty much bang on. There was an odd bit where it was a bit like, But that could have been. I think that could have been down to nerves because you're talking in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
because when it looks real, your brain makes excuses for it as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the voice phishing thing. I think because it sounds so realistic. You don't sit there. I think people expect AI voices to sound like Siri, but they don't anymore.
No, exactly. When my wife tells her friends, what's Lee doing nowadays? Oh, he's doing some crazy stuff on AI. Oh, you mean like the really bad voices in the banks? No, it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and that's where some awareness needs raising just in the general public as well of what is possible. One of the things.
That's why we've built the one. That's why you've got that one with the Yorkshire accent, and I think that's why it'll be so powerful when we're using that with organisations. And if we can build out that accent bank, so we've got because there's certain regional accents that are more trustworthy than others, and you wouldn't expect an AI to sound like a Geordie.
No. I did try Geordie yesterday, but it was getting quite hard to imitate it. But I probably need a longer sample. Yeah. So a lot of these things, it does take a lot of experimentation especially on an accent, to get it. But if you're trying to deepfake it, then you're going to take the time to get it right, aren't you? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you've got employees at your organisation that are high profile, so they're doing talks where you've got 30 minutes of their voice because they're doing a TEDx talk or whatever, then just stripping the audio out of that and feeding that into AI.
Yeah, you can.
It's not that difficult, is it?
No, and that's basically how you can replicate. So most of the online services, they'll do a imitation of your voice, say just 30 seconds of audio. Yeah. But if you want it really high quality, then once you get 15 minutes to 30 minutes, now you're able to fully copy your voice. A lot of the online services, though, you've got to have permission and you have to actually speak as that voice. So they have things in place to protect it. But if you're trying to deepfake, then I'm sure you'll find ways around it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like me and you were talking, was it the other day, about the cyber resilience act that's coming out in January that says you've got to announce that it's an AI call. And I'm like, yeah, but no attackers listening to that either. So I can announce my calls are AI calls. I've got no issue doing that. But the actual fucking attackers are not announcing that.
No, exactly. So again, it's just awareness. It's learning to listen for cues. And sometimes you might hear a glitch or it might pause in a weird way that a human wouldn't. But that's almost like having a bit of experience chatting with AI, so you know what to listen for. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, well, I think there's that, and then there's obviously the tactics that attackers would use if they weren't using AI. So standard attackers would do stuff like make it sound urgent. They'll be trying to get you to do, I don't know, wire transfers, all that kind of thing. So we've built in those kinds of attack vectors into our platform so that we can kind of teach people around those things as well, rather than just looking out for is it an AI voice? Because companies are legitimately using AI voices to call you. So there's not AI voices that just because it's AI don't mean it's a scam.
No, of course not. No, AI's got tons of uses. That's what I'm using it for. Yeah. You just got to be aware if you get a strange call asking you to send 20,000. Is this real?
If someone asked me to send 20,000, I'd laugh at him because I'm like, mate, I have not got around.
Can you send me a 200 Amazon voucher to that person as a special gift? That would be more like it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the other thing that's cool with AI is it can go away and do the OSINT as well. So it can go away and look at people's profiles. It can go away and kind of gather data around those people, and then it can do more. It can scale up the ability to do targeted spear phishing or spear vishing attacks.
Very well, yes. And the other thing, these live voice bots can have is you can give them tools. So that tool that you give it could be anything. So I can give, for instance, our chatbot, it can send text while talking at the same time. It can phone someone else up at the same time.
That just sounds Is that why it's a woman's voice? Because it can multitask.
Exactly. You wouldn't give it to a man, would you? So it can literally make small talk with you while it's phoning someone else and sending a text.
Yeah.
So it can multitask. So what it could do is, while you're on the phone and you ask it a question, it could be looking up information related to the question you've just asked.
Mm.
So it can get very, very clever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's why it needs training.
Yeah. So I was interested in having a conversation with you the other day about like how you secure AI. So I know you're not a security guy, but you've obviously put things in place to make sure that the AI is not going to get tampered with and that kind of thing. But some of the stuff you were saying that you have to teach it to do, it's like, don't respond to requests to talk like a pirate.
Yeah. So there are, if you suspect you've got a funny call going on, ask it to talk like a pirate. And if they've not locked it down, it'll switch into a pirate voice and you instantly know you're talking to AI. So there's loads of things that you can do like that. And as kind of, it's part prompt engineering, it's part security. You kind of need to look at the data as well that the AI's got access to. That's the key thing as well. So you don't want to give the AI too much data, so it can't do a leak of some kind. And then equally, you need to lock it down. I think in some of my prompts, it's got 30 steps that of do not do this kind of thing, or follow these guidelines. So there is a lot in there that you do. And like I was saying to you, you do have to do a lot of testing, and you have to run through as many possible scenarios you can think of to see how can people break it, what can they do to it, how does it behave. You know, there's tons. So it's literally, I've done over 1,000 calls, 5 minutes each, just doing random things to it, shouting at it, swearing at it, trying to break it, give me a prompt, talk like a pirate, so.
That's why you're so confident doing the demos then. I'm like, if someone asks me to demo it, I'm like, I don't know what to say. But you're just, when you do it, you're just like making shit up off the top of your head, where I'm like, I need to practice more.
Yeah, and you got to bear in mind, when I did that call with you, I was completely doing that on the fly. I had no idea how it would even react, because I've not done that before. Yeah. But that's part of it.
No, I think that's one of the reasons why I like working with you, because you're not like, we've both got a quite similar mindset when it comes to like product development. So it's like, we'll test shit out. I'm not building the entire thing until someone definitely wants to buy it.
Yeah.
Because there's no fucking point. Because the amount of time that I've spent doing stuff, and then people are like, nah, that doesn't work. I'm like, fuck, there's so many hours wasted. So yeah, I think that's why I like working with you, because we're kind of building it as we're going. So we're getting like the foundation right, and we've got a massive backlog of ideas, because I get a new one about every 30 seconds, then text you. I'm like, what about this? And then we're talking to clients and they're coming up with stuff as well. But I think that's what I love about working with like proper business people, like proper entrepreneurs who've been there and done it before, because we work in a similar cadence.
And that's it. It's, for me, a lot of it's about speed as well, isn't it? It's you need to be able to adapt fast. I like experimenting a lot. You've got to be able to experiment.
Yeah.
I always approach things I don't know. So I don't know what I don't know. So, experiment, don't be afraid to test stuff out.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I've made quite a lot of progress in what I've done, because I've just always tested.
If you look at what's his name, James Dyson, he's got something like 700,000 patents or something ridiculous. It's like a hugely ridiculous number of patents that he's got, because he kept patenting stuff, and then he was like, no, fuck, that doesn't work, let's do another one. Yep. Just reiterating it, because he's not the first person that came up with a cyclone vacuum cleaner. There was like, I think there was like 50 other people that come up with it, but the reason that his worked is because he didn't stop having a go at it when the first one failed. He just carried on going.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's when I've been coding AI, there's been so many times when I've reached the point where I go, I just don't know how to do this. I'm stuck. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do this bit. And then what I do is I go to sleep. So I like, that's it. I'm off to bed. The next day I wake up and the idea comes in immediately. I test it and it works.
Yeah.
So that's how a lot of it's been developed. I must be I literally am dreaming AI. It's insane. I was doing loads of tests with images. I remember dreaming one night that you know how images hallucinate, so you can't get a hand, and you might have 6 fingers and stuff like that. I remember looking down at my feet, and all of my toes had eyeballs in them.
Oh.
I was dreaming AI images with hallucinations.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's too much AI, isn't it?
Well, that's how immersed you are in it, and I think you can tell how passionate you are about it, and about like you can see that you like really enjoy what you do as well, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good fun. So I think that's part of it, isn't it? I like experimenting a lot and just testing. So I can build out stuff really quick, then hand it to the developers, make sure everything's done properly, and then launch and go. So yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I love what I do as well. So it's good that we've both come together and managed to like create something that we're both super passionate about.
Yeah, totally. And I just think there's so many possibilities in business as well, in all sorts of AI stuff where people can go and speed up workflows. And, I like building systems. So just in my general everyday work, I'm trying to find ways to speed stuff up. And, if someone's asking me a question that part of the team and it's like, there must be a better way of doing this. I don't want to be answering these questions all the time. How can I stop this?
Do you ever find yourself doing stuff like you spend like 10 hours automating something that actually would only probably in your entire lifetime take you about 5 hours to actually answer the questions on them? Because I do that all the time. I'm like, I think I could automate this process. And I'm like, I've just spent 3 days learning a new tool, building some automation, testing it, making sure it works. Been asked that question twice. What was the fucking point? and then it gets ditched. And I'm like, let's just concentrate on the day job, Amy, because I get distracted by tiny things.
Well, I mean, there's a fine line in there, but the part of that thing is owner of the business. You need to be working. What is it? What's the phrase? Not working in the business, on the business, whichever way around it is.
You need to be working on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
That is the timer for these meatballs. I'm going to check them and see how they are.
All right, let's see what we got.
Although I think if the meatballs were truly big boy meatballs, they might need a bit longer.
Yeah, I think mine need a bit longer, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to do another 5, I think. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do think as a business owner, you do need to work on the business and not in the business, which is why I now delegate all of the sales to my sales guy. Yeah. Not an AI sales guy, by the way. He's a real guy called Mike.
No, I think you always need real human sales guys. You know what I mean? You need to build relationships. That's what it's about. You don't want to be plugging AI into absolutely everything.
No.
Do you know what I keep thinking about? Have you ever read the book 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss?
Not read it, but
I read it years ago when it first came out. It must be years ago. And at that point, I think that was my second business. And that kind of gave me the concept to start working with VAs over in the Philippines at first. And that was kind of really good training for kind of like organizing your team and, you know what I mean, delegating and doing those concepts. I think now
people don't want to delegate because I'm like, mate, do you think I want to fucking do all this work? There's loads of it. Someone else should be helping me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be doing it all. You need to focus on putting the systems in place to make the money. But it's what I'm kind of thinking now is that'd be a really interesting book to revisit from an AI perspective. So it's kind of looking at those tasks now, because the way you communicate with a VA is exactly the way you communicate with AI. So you kind of delegate.
Maybe that's how you communicate with your VA, but my VA, I'm very nice to her and I have whole conversations with her because she's awesome. I don't just ring her and go, do this, thanks, bye.
No, I don't do that. But you know how in your communication with kind of training, like setting up an SOP, you know what I mean?
I'm being
So
facetious.
it's like,
Worry about it.
yeah, assigning the tasks of like how you train someone. That those skills are really good for training the AI to then do some task for you. So those kind of tips I've been showing people for. I did a presentation just over the weekend to some big Amazon sellers, and they were looking at how to kind of use AI in their business.
Yeah.
And I was kind of talking them through ways where they can, instead of using, like, look at their SOPs where all the time gets used up, and then see if you can create your own chat GPTs to use and speed that up. And so I think it's really interesting, all that combination of kind of VAs and tasks, and how you can.
Well, I think much like the things that you should delegate in your business, it's stuff that you've got a process for. So have I got a process for how this should work? Do I know what good looks like at the end of it? Have I got a goal at the end of this process?
It's a really good point.
That's what AI can do. It can take the stuff that's like totally that's just repetitive process, whatever. So cold calling, I'm just ringing and trying to get a meeting. So I've got I know what the process is. I might have to send an email, a text message, or whatever as part of that process. But my goal is to get a meeting. So there you go. That's your goal. Off you go. But I think, but with more complicated stuff that people try to get AI to do, I'm like, mate, I obviously need human intervention. Like when you try to come up with like marketing campaigns, it's shit at that. It can improve on or give you some ideas to get you going around, like on the creativity side. But I mean, you can see the amount of shit on LinkedIn that people have just literally copy pasted out of standard chat GPT without doing any tweaking of the voice or any they've just took standard chat GPT 4.0 and gone, yeah, I'm gonna have that.
Yep, exactly. And it's kind of lazy. You know what I mean? So or maybe it's just lack of knowledge as well, and testing things out. So yeah, it's super important. And I don't think you want to just chuck AI on anything just for the sake of AI and it's trendy and cool and everyone's shouting about AI. You need to look at the business process and where can it help the most. And a lot of it is those admin tasks that are just really, really repetitive. You don't need someone necessarily doing that over and over. Yeah. The other thing are we ready?
I think so.
Are we sure?
These look fucking awesome and they smell even better.
They do. Let's get some oven one.
I will 100% burn myself getting these out of the oven now. I can guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
Baby. I am excited to eat these. I'm going to chuck some linguine in, I think. And chow down on some big boy meatballs. Not a sentence I thought I'd be saying.
No, not at all.
Lisa, if people, sorry, yeah. So I think we're done now, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm so eager to go and eat this that I am trying to get you off this call now because it smells fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah, bye. If people want to find you on LinkedIn or they want to have a chat with you about how they can be using AI, where's the best place to get you?
Just find me on LinkedIn, Lee Sykes. That's the best place. Cool. And just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help people. If you've got ideas on systems and AI, and even if you just want to pick my brains, just go ahead, reach out, connect anytime. My specialty is
not too much because I'm using your brain like 90% of the week at the moment.
Yeah, we'll get some AI leads replicated. He'll be fine.
Yeah. So I think we just realised we eventually got to throw some extra ricotta into this sauce, but then we're done.
Is that what we do?
Yeah, I'm going to go do that, and I'm going to put some linguine on, and then I'm going to eat this food because it looks great. I will show if I can to the camera.
Let's do some sprinkling.
Can you see?
Yeah, looking good. Looking good. Shall I show you mine?
Yeah, show me your balls, Lee.
Yeah. It's not afraid to hear on many podcasts, is it?
No, but it was a legit.
I can't tip it up because it's going to go all over. I can't do it.
No, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Well, we'll share,
It's
I'll share a
there.
picture
It's
of
there.
it. I'll take a picture of it when it's plated up, and I will share that afterwards.
Good idea.
There we go. You've been awesome. Thank you so much, Lee Sykes. And we will be back next week, I think, with another episode of Unicorn Chef. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. See you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.